Hello, I'm Catherine. I'm your host, and this is Truth and Transcendence. Welcome. I was talking to a friend the other day about one of the conundrums or conundra for practitioners in the helping professions. And I think this also applies to parents, teachers, leaders, best friends, partners, anyone who's trying to be helpful to somebody else. And we were talking about the fact that there are people in all sorts of frames of mind, states of mind. Some people are really suffering at the moment. Some people are in crisis. Some people are having a fantastic life and they would like to keep growing within that. Some people are hitting creative challenges and would like to transform those. Some people are just wanting to kind of wind down a little bit, chill down, and find ways to find more peace for themselves. And often people in any of those categories will reach out for some help. So as a practitioner or any of those other kinds of people that I mentioned, sometimes we can start to believe that if we are kind, generous and loving people, that we have to say yes to helping everybody, and we have to say yes to helping everybody with everything. And actually, we don't have to do that. Actually, and one of the reasons this is such a difficult conundrum is because often the people we feel most duty bound to help are the people who are suffering the most, having the worst crises. And quite often, those are the people that we actually can't really help beyond a certain point. Often those are the people who need some very specialist assistance and support, which if we're not that specialist, we can't do that for them and with them. There's a lot we can do. We can listen to them. We can share our own thoughts with them. But if we're not a specialist therapist in that particular field, we can't do specialist therapy with them. So if that's what they need and that's what they want, we can't do it. And that shouldn't create a problem for us because it's simply a reality. But again, a lot of us have got this programming which says, yeah, I should be stepping outside of what I normally do. I should be helping them. I should be being prepared to talk to them, through the night and support them when they're having a crisis. So so really what I want to talk about today is that thing within us that says, I have a duty to help everybody with everything and in every single way that they want and need to be helped. And to acknowledge that that's a piece of programming that many of us have within us. I have that piece of programming within myself. Many of us do. And I think if we do have that piece of programming, it behooves us to acknowledge that to ourselves, recognize it. And it also behooves us to interrupt any patterns we might have of being run by that program, of being forced by that program to do things that don't work, or to try to be somebody else, or try to conduct work with people, or friendly time with people, whatever it might be that we're actually not equipped to do, that we can't do, or simply that we don't want to do. Because we can't do everything. We can't do everything, or at least not all at once. We can't do it. For those of us who are very, very experienced practitioners, we may be able to do a lot in one session or over a period of time with somebody, bridging many different modalities and many different approaches. And yes, that can be possible, but we can't do that when we're just starting out. And actually, it's not safe to try to do it when we're just starting out. So yes, I think acknowledging that this piece of programming that many of us have is very, very important. I think recognizing that that can try to take over and bring us into a dangerous place where we're trying to do things we shouldn't be doing is also worth acknowledging. I think it's also worth looking at where are we on our path and in our place in our development. And in that place, what is it that we can actually take on? What do we actually have the capacity for? And to be honest with ourselves about that, and to be honest with others about that. And to recognize as well that when we are more developed on our path, when our work and our practice is more evolved, we can do a lot more. And in fact, by then, we may well have developed our own modality, which is something we've created, and which we'll accomplish with somebody something unique that they won't get anywhere else. And that is much more valuable than trying to go and learn all the other modalities so that we can do everything for everybody all the time. So this is just a little reminder, I think, and I'm imagining you watching or listening to this and knowing that you already know this. And I can imagine other people turning around and saying, yeah, this is exactly what I was saying to somebody or other the other day, because they were falling into the trap. And the trouble with that particular trap is it can be incredibly debilitating. We can end up worrying and angsting about something and about a way that we wish we could help somebody. And it can actually stop us sleeping. It can affect our appetite. It can give us tension. It can give us headaches. It can give us digestive disorders. It can give us all sorts of issues and problems and suffering that is completely unnecessary and doesn't help anybody. So that's why I'm putting out this call, I suppose, for a little bit of self-realism, a little bit of self-acceptance, a little bit of self-love, and a little bit of understanding that the loving thing to do in terms of self-love, loving others, is to understand where the boundaries are and be honest and truthful about those. I've had many occasions where I've started working with a new client and I've said to them, before we start, just so you know, I'm not a psychotherapist. And people have found that really, they've loved it. They've found it delightful partly because some people, the last thing they want is a psychotherapist. Some people would like to work with a psychotherapist, but they find it really refreshing that I'm saying that I'm not one. And sometimes people have said, you know what, I thought I needed a psychotherapist, but now I've met you and you said you're not one. Can we talk a bit further and see what do you do and how could you perhaps help me? And sometimes that person has realized they don't really need a psychotherapist after all. Other times, someone has said, well, I'm really glad you said that, but actually that is what I need. I do need a psychotherapist right now. While I'm looking for one, could we do a bit of work on this? Which not the same thing as I'm going to take to that person. Or after I've worked with my psychotherapist, I might come back and talk to you about quality of life, having more joy, whatever it is that they like to actually work on. So it's liberating and it's loving to hold those boundaries and not think that we have to, should do, help everyone with everything all the time. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for being out there, giving love, sharing support, and assisting in the ways that you can and in the ways that you're good at, and also for continuing to grow and learn and expand that boundary of how you are able to contribute. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you next time.